Well, President Cyril Ramaphosa, meanwhile, has delivered the State of the Nation address for his sixth administration. That took place last week. His tenure, as we know, confronted by numerous challenges, including the COVID-19 pandemic, state capture allegations, and, of course, power cuts. Let's continue to reflect on the President's tenure. Minister in the Presidency responsible for planning, monitoring and evaluation, Maropene Ramokgopa, joins us via our video link this afternoon. Minister, you know when I'm usually at the red desk, it's in the morning, so you'll forgive me for saying good morning, but a very good afternoon to you. It's great to have you with us here on Daytime Update. And I wonder whether, as a start, you will respond to the breaking news story that's come to us this hour, this development in the Constitutional Court where the ANC has now been ordered to hand over its deployment, cadre deployment records to the DA.
Good afternoon. I think I would allow the ANC to express itself as it relates to that. I do know that there is a statement that was issued by the ANC to say that they will study the outcome of this judgment, and the ANC do acknowledge indeed that cadre development or cadre deployment is a practice that's not only practiced by the ANC but many other political parties even abroad. However, let's allow the ANC to study the judgment so that they can then now issue out an official statement as it relates to this.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to the State of the Nation address. It's an important one for the governing ANC. It was a very important one for President Cyril Ramaphosa. As we know, we're in a watershed year for our country. This election coming up is set to be as important, if not more so, as 1994 and our first democratic elections as a country. The President had to say a lot of things, right? He sort of had to shoot the lights out. And he did deal with a whole range of promises. But in terms of your own, insofar as planning is concerned, did the President do enough, do you think, to convince the country that the plans for the coming year are in hand?
I don't think it was to convince the country, but first of all, the President had to account on what we have been able to do for the past 5 years. And as a result, that empirical evidence that he has accounted for to say that this is what we said we would do and we have been able to do it. This is what we said we would do, but at a specific time we couldn't do it because of some global pandemic that had happened and some issues that happened in the country as well that has then now deterred us from the progress that we would have loved to actually achieve. So as a result, I do believe that the President did more than enough to assure South Africans, of course, that the progress that we have registered before, we will continue to do so just as long as the ruling party that he is leading has been given a mandate by the electorate to actually lead this country.
As the Minister in the President responsible for planning, monitoring and evaluation, Minister Ramokgopa, would you not agree that despite and I think even the worst critics of the governing ANC will say that yes, there has been some movement on particular areas of concern, but wouldn't you agree that in 2024 we are a country that is more dangerous, more violent, poorer, and to the same point, more expensive?
I do believe that, of course, we are not where we are supposed to be. However, if you look at the interventions that we have put in place as it relates to crime, increasing the number of police, making sure that at least every year we do plan to take about almost 10,000 new recruits of police to deal with the issues of not only responding to crime, but also ensuring that we do respond to issues of prevention of crime as well. We have been able to put in place systems such as making sure that NPA does become effective again. We have made sure that we do resuscitate it, especially the units that then now assist us to be able to prosecute effectively. As it relates to the price of food and all that, I do believe that interventions have been put in place. I do remember that we did receive a presentation by the Competition Commission to say that this is what has been happening and these are the interventions that we are putting in place to try and deal with issues that are not necessarily as a result of natural causes or even the global challenges that the world is actually facing. So I do believe that interventions have been put in place. And of course, I do agree that the issues of price of food has really affected a lot of people, poor and disadvantaged and rich. Everyone else has been affected by that. And unfortunately, it is just a number of a myriad of issues, including global challenges that the whole world is actually going through, including the wars that are actually happening, that are affecting the prices of oil, and as a result the fuel prices goes up, and then it affects everything else that has to do with whatever it is that human beings do need to survive.
Of course, many of these crises are also very much linked to issues that are perhaps not unique to South Africa insofar as corruption is concerned, but certainly just given what we've heard from the Corruption Perception Index, that South Africa is at its lowest levels in recent history, and that we've dropped insofar as corruption perception is concerned. We've dropped way below the global average. So as much as there are many issues, as you say, that are perhaps out of our control, perhaps influenced from external factors, this one is very central, and I'm sure you will agree with me, Minister, to the issues that we face in logistics. We know that transport logistics has been massively impacted over the past few months. In energy, we were just in stage 6 load shedding over the weekend. We're currently on stage 5. That's being seen as an improvement according to Eskom. Water, the official statistics from the Water and Sanitation Department says that 86% of people have access to running water, when in actual fact only 46% actually have a tap in their homes. Central to these issues, the point that I'm making, Minister, is the issue, in many cases unique to us, of our position globally insofar as corruption and the corruption index is concerned.
Definitely the government of the ANC cannot be viewed as if they would then now be protecting corruption. I think there is a few governments in the country, in the world, that would then now have a commission, such as the Zondo Commission that we had, to say that there was state capture. How do we then now resolve that? As much as the state capture happened under the government of the ANC, but it is also the ANC that came out to say that we are going to root out corruption. And we did that transparently, making sure that we account, to the point whereby the president of the country also appeared in Zondo Commission. No one was actually left behind as it relates to ensuring that we deal with the issues of corruption. We bring people to account, and so that we can then now be able to be at the center of whatever it is that is happening that is affecting how service delivery is done and how the state is actually being corrupted. So I would like to say that I do believe that the ANC government, or this government that we are under, has actually put systems in place, and I applaud them, in fact, for the stance that they have taken. Because if you see rot, if you then now try to hide it, that's something else. But when you then now come out and say, we see it, we want to deal with it, and we're putting systems in place. We've already seen on asset forfeiture as well. We've seen more money being recovered from some of the assets that were bought or that were acquired during state capture as well. So you can then now already see that work is being done as it relates to corruption. Perception is perception, but empirical evidence also shows that the government of the ANC is actually doing something about this corruption that you are talking about.
Yeah, the ANC president was at the Zondo Commission of Inquiry himself giving testimony, as you say. And part of that testimony, he said the ANC is accused number one insofar as state capture is concerned. But who within the governing party has been held accountable, as you say?
A number of people have been held accountable. That is why you would then now, I don't want to talk about names, but I'll speak about the fact that there have been a number of political leaders as well as people that are in government that had to step aside because they were charged and that process, of course, followed state capture and other processes that were outside of state capture as well. So we have processes that are still unfolding. The ANC is taking its own processes to make sure that it deals with any nature of corruption, but also we are also supporting government and state apparatus to actually be able to do their work accordingly. So in my view, there have been work that have already been done. It is for this reason that there are people that had to step aside because they have been charged. But because justice process has to be adhered to, because everyone has got a right constitutionally, we have to then now allow those processes to actually unfold, so that at the end of the day, when decisions are taken, they are taken based on a process that had unfolded constitutionally, but everybody else has also been afforded an opportunity to actually speak for themselves.
Right. I think it's important for you to name those names, Minister, because as you know, according to our justice system, if you've been charged, we are well within our rights to name those names. So who are the people? I think it's important.
I would allow you to go and do your work on that. I'm saying that there are people that have had to step aside precisely because they have been charged. Because of that, I think I'm giving you at least an avenue to go and get those names, so that then you can then now be able to see if ANC government has done its work or not.
You don't think that that duty should be down to you as taxpayers who pay the salary of government officials?
It is for this reason that I am saying to you there have been people that had to step aside, a number of them. So you will have to then now go out and get that list. And I think it is my responsibility to say it exactly, that there are people that had to step aside precisely because they were charged. So I don't think that it will assist us to go to and fro as it relates to bring names or not. It would be a different case if I was saying no one was charged. What you are saying does not hold any water. I am saying people were charged. That is for this reason that the ANC had to say to them, step aside.